Hey guys, it's Austin here with Park Place, and today we're going to be touring a property that I sold a while back with my business partner Garth. Now, we were able to sell this property in less than 24 hours, and I'll tell you more about that story after I show you the property. But first, the stats on this one is it is a 4-bedroom, 3.25 bathroom property. It is not a new construction, but it was only a couple of years old when we listed it. It's just under 3,500 square feet, and this is one of the properties that we got the most engagement on ever in my career. So usually what I like to do is actually walk you guys through a property with me just literally holding the camera and walking through the property, because I think it's kind of cool to be able to actually see all the elements of it. But with this one today, I'm actually going to show you the marketing commercial that we did for this property specifically. And the last thing that I'll tell you about this one is that we actually branded this property as Altitude. Altitude was the name that we gave it when we put it on the market. And it was really interesting to see because the market really enjoyed the name of it, because we were constantly getting reached out to by potential buyers and from other agents, and they were referring to the property as Altitude. All right, now let's go ahead and check out the property. Man, I still love watching that commercial to this date. Now, when we listed this property, like I had mentioned, we sold it in less than 24 hours. I think it was probably closer to 18 hours on the market. So what ended up happening is when we list a property, we do all of this stuff in advance. So the photos, the 3D walkthroughs, the commercials, the brochures, the marketing plan is all done probably about a week in advance of actually putting the property on the market. So it was pretty orchestrated. This one we ended up doing in about 3 or 4 day turnaround for getting it on the market, because they were ready to go. They wanted us to push it a little bit, and so that's exactly what we did. But it was really interesting to see how fast this one had gone. And when we put it on, so we usually put our properties on the market somewhere around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning. That way people can kind of see them before they are either off to work or whatever they have going on in their day. And once we had put it on the market, I mean, we started getting people reaching out to us right away. We had agents sending us screenshots of DMs that they were getting on social media saying, hey, is this your listing? Because they saw that it was associated with our office and all that kind of stuff. So the engagement got pretty wild pretty quickly. But whenever we get into a situation like this, what we like to do, especially as people are starting to schedule showings, is we like to put the showings very, 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 very close to each other. Now, we did a couple of things here that were a bit interesting, I would say, in the sense of we don't do this on all of our properties, but on some properties we definitely do this. So what we do is we like to stack all of the showings really close to each other. That way people are pulling in and pulling out at the same time, seeing each other. Sometimes there are people that are actually waiting for one showing to finish up, and this just creates an additional amount of perceived demand which gets the buyers more excited to actually go through and pull the trigger on the property and potentially even pay more to our seller. So that's something that we like to do. The other thing that we like to do is we were actually present at this listing for every single showing. And why we do this is because it actually allows us to orchestrate a perfect showing for the buyers. Now, a buyer's agent, they're going to be out looking at a bunch of different properties. They're not going to know where the light switches are. They're not going to know where the features are, where the amenities are. Like they're not going to know all this stuff because it's their first time previewing the property as well. So with us being there, it allows us to not really get up in their space, but to allow us to tour them and take great care of them, the buyer's agent and the buyers, and allow them to have an amazing experience at the home. And so this is what we were able to do. We ended up getting, I think, between 7 and 9 showings on the day that we actually put that thing on the market. And we ended up getting a full price offer. We had priced this home. We sold it for 1.1. And at the time of selling this property, that was the absolute max that we could really see this property going for. We ended up getting multiple offers on it and ended up going with a full price offer. They had probably 70% down. It was a very large down payment. They had waived everything and they gave the seller a month of free rent back, which means that the seller was allowed to close on the property and live there for an additional 30 days without paying for it as well. And that was really awesome because it allowed the sellers to have the flexibility and the time that they needed to transition to where they were moving, which they were moving out of state. And that's what happened with that one. So this was a really fun listing. I loved working with these clients. I loved working with this property. If you have any questions about buying or selling a piece of real estate and it's in Washington State, please let me know. I would love the opportunity to work with you guys and answer any questions that you're having. You can send me an email to austin@austinhamoka.com. I'll also have that linked in the description below, and I will see you for the next property tour. Take care. Talk to you soon.